looks so pretty.
Good morning, everybody. Kim and Cindy are gathering together with me again today for another episode of the 10,000 Club. So good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's December 1st at the calendar today.
Happy
Yay.
holidays.
Santa's coming.
Rockefeller tree get lit last night
Oh, was it? Okay.
in New York
Good.
City. Yep.
I'm going to my first holiday party tonight.
I know you look nice. I love
got
the
a little-
sparkle.
Yeah, I was like, what time does this thing start? 4, 5? That means I have to dress before I go to work. So it's like, I don't have time to change later. So
Yeah.
anyways,
it's
it's
the
the
season.
yes. So it's the holiday season. And in thinking about what kind of content we're going to bring to these live streams, Cindy often, doesn't she, Kim, come with amazing ideas sometimes.
Tracy.
Yeah. So she read an article and it was from the Daily National Real Estate News. And it basically was about how to increase your closings. But I like to think of it as, what's your secret sauce? So that's sort of the format for the conversation that we're going to have today, is really just like, how do you increase your closings? And what do we believe is the secret sauce, right, to do that? So
Yeah, for sure. And I totally believe it's the conversations, it's the connections you make leading up to all that. And I think it's important. And I think we probably in our mind make it a bigger thing than what it needs to be, rather than just going and talking to people and making it natural. And just starting the conversation. You got to start somewhere. So start a conversation.
And this is the perfect time of year. Holidays, this is when we're mingling with people we may not ever see normally. I went to some parties this summer and ended up with some listings with family members that may not have ever called me because I don't see them, right? So this is a really good time to genuinely first be interested in them, right?
Yep.
Genuinely, how are you? How are the kids? How's work? How, we like the Ford questions, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. And those are just good baselines for us to start those conversations with. And it's simply just being interested in somebody else.
right. Yeah, it's sort of directing the conversation for you. So if you have those things in your mind, you can have a conversation with anybody, introverts, extroverts, anybody can have the Ford conversations because it directs your conversations.
Yeah, it helps you kind of keep focused too. And we were talking yesterday, and when I go in a room, sometimes I get a little nervous, especially if there's a lot of people there. And so I'll kind of look around and smile, hi, but I'll pick out somebody that I'm like, I'm going to be their best friend. But I'll go up and I'll compliment them and just, get the conversation going. And even if it's a compliment or exactly what Tracy and Kim said, the Ford conversation. And I try not to think too much about it, because if I do, I stumble over whatever I say. So I just got to be me, I guess.
Yeah, you just want to be natural. Like, do you have any plans for the holidays, or do you go away for a vacation while the kids are on spring break, or do you have an upcoming vacation, this winter? It's simply just, I remember when I moved to Florida to sell real estate, I didn't know anybody. And everywhere I went, I would just start with, where are you from? Because everybody was from somewhere, right?
Right.
So it's really quite simple. How are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think in our mind, I think we make too much of it. We're trying to, oh my gosh, we need to be a real estate professional. We need to put our real estate hat on, and rather than just put our people hat on,
Yes.
we're people, they're people, we're all people.
Yeah. That's good wisdom. Put on your people hat. I like
Yeah.
that, Cindy.
Yes, I like that. I do. I
like
do.
that. Yeah. And one thing this morning when I was thinking about this topic, I was reminded of Zig Ziglar. His quote is, you can have everything in life you want if you just help others get what they want. And I've never really liked being a quote salesperson, but I do like helping others. So if we come at it from, I'm not out here to walk away with 2 listing appointments, but I'm just here to get to know you. I'm here to help you get what you want. And then in return, I end up getting everything that I want. It's a real basic principle about life.
For sure.
So yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's good. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Okay. Yeah. Zig Ziglar. Yeah.
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 Well, thinking back to this article, you know, one of the things it says is you're not in the business of selling houses. You're in the business of conversations.
Mhm.
And Kim, I've heard you say this before about what do you say to agents when you talk to them?
In order to have sales, it's always about how many conversations are you having. If you're
Right.
having conversations, you will have sales. If you're not having conversations, there's no sale, right? It's always about conversations. Who are you talking to? So
How many people are you talking to?
how
If
many
you're talking to 2 people a week, that is not going to equate to making enough connections to build enough business to have a real estate career. So how
Right.
many conversations are you having daily? Are you counting them? Or how many conversations are you having in a week? What
Mhm.
kinds of things and places are you putting yourself in order for these conversations to happen? Some of them could just happen on the phone, but
Mhm.
sometimes we need to put ourselves in places where we have an opportunity to meet people and meet people outside of our sphere of influence.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Get out of the house, you know, and again, just like Kim was saying, this is the perfect time. You get invited to, you know, a happy hour with a lender or, you know, the title companies or 5-star Christmas party, the coffee hours, all that. You'll be amazed how much better you feel. I think again, you build it up and you're like, oh, I'm busy. It's cold out. You know, it's snowing. Oh, the roads are icy. You know, there can be all kinds of excuses and we're all guilty of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I find for me, if I just do it, I feel better. And I'm like, God, it really wasn't that big a deal. Why did I, and here I ended up stressing and, you know, being all upset and worrying and all that. And all I had to do was get up and go and be there.
Mhm. Take a shower, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
I always like to say since
I hate
COVID,
that part.
yeah. And since COVID, we had to learn to like our homes. And I often say we kind of like them a little too much now. We can work from home. We can have on our sweatpants with a nice shirt when we Zoom, which I have on dress pants today, like Tracy. But there are times I still have on my sweatpants, right? So we can live that very relaxed lifestyle. And I think we can like to be home a lot, which is a good thing. But as real estate agents and in a people business, we do have to get out and find ways to mingle with people. So yeah, it is about the conversations and just being really real when we're out
Mhm.
there.
Yep, for sure.
When they talk about the quality of conversations, Cindy, what do you think he means when he talks about the quality of conversations, that we need to keep the quality of conversations going?
More so like, you know, like I said, you want to put your people hat on, but you just don't want to go up there and again, I've done it before. I've had this wonderful conversation. I neglected to say, hey, you know, here, you know, or I've given them my card, but I neglected to get their name and number. You know, I think, you know, practice that, you know, if you give them your card or if you say, hey, you know, let's, you know, get together or, you know, you know, let's exchange phone numbers and things like that. I think that's it. And also pointing it towards them and not you. You know, we all tend to, oh, we got the cutest grandkids and all this and that, but we're talking to them because we're finding out about them. And that'll give us an opportunity for them to get to know us. But again, I think we need to, and I think it'll be easier for conversation if you focus more on them than on you. I think the pressure's less.
So what you're talking about is actually being a listener.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're keeping the conversation going, you're listening and you're
Yep.
listening for cues and ways to, you know, move the conversation along.
Yep.
And I think it's pretty important that we just say, you know, I would love to have coffee with you, or my family, every time we get together, like, we're going to have a girls' night. Okay. And so say that, hey, I'd love to get in touch with you. Would you like to get a cup of coffee? And then follow up with it. We say those things, but if we follow up and say, then you send a text the next day or make a call. It was so great to see you. I would love to get together and, you know, let's meet for coffee Thursday at noon, or let's plan that night out with the 5 of us, or whatever it is. It's so easy to not follow up, but that's really how you strengthen those relationships. Is I like to open the door when I'm there and plant my seed. I'll be honest, I'm always looking for an opportunity to let them know I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
Always. I just
Yeah.
am. And if that connects, then it connects. but I won't push it, but then I will follow up and try to get together with that person to know more. Right.
Yeah.
The best part is you usually don't have to tell them.
Right.
Usually they know that you're a real estate professional, so they want to talk to you about it. They want to inquire. They
Yes.
feel like they know a little bit because they watch the news. So
Yeah,
that's the good part. All you have
Yeah.
to do is plant yourself.
Yeah, I remember sitting by the pool and my niece's fiance said, "So you're the real estate person?" I'm like, "I am. Guess what? He's going to close in a couple weeks, right?"
That's good.
So they
That's
know, but sometimes you're just not top of mind. And I don't always get with my family. They live 45 minutes away. They don't realize I'll go to Bellevue, Lansing, St. Joe. They don't realize sometimes, oh, how far do you go? So just being there and planting that and just being in front of somebody could bring you business because they don't realize that you will help them in whatever location they're in.
Yeah.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I think also going above and beyond for even your current clients, sometimes they'll call, like if they have questions, like I had a closing and there's a question on the HOA, rather than just passing it along. I'm like, oh, great. Yep. Let me get the information for you. I'll find out what's going on. Doing that extra, I've gotten a lot of business just from doing those extra things and helping them. So you're their resource. So if they have, I have clients that from 10 years ago, oh, I was looking at this piece of property, or things like that. They come back to you because you've always been willing to help them and assist them, or at least get them in touch with somebody that can. I think that's important too. That brings a lot of past business.
We didn't talk about this in advance, but can you guys think of times that you were somewhere and the craziest conversations happened that led to a book of business or a really unique client? Can you name a time, a place where you were someone and an opportunity opened up, like in the place you least expected it?
I'll talk about one. So about, maybe 10 years ago, I had a buyer who called into my previous office, and she wasn't a buyer, she was a renter, and she wanted to rent. And so I showed her our rentals. She didn't end up with one of those. She found her own rental. So I didn't even get the $100, right? So I still serviced her, still helped her. Later on, that apartment had some mold issues. She called me. I helped her get out of it. She got another one. At this point, still not one penny. And then it took a few years, and she was moving into, she's a nurse at the hospital. And a few years later, she calls me up and says, "Hey, I have a fiance. We want to buy a home." So you never know where the lead is going to come from. And so we started in Kalamazoo, and then he decided to take a hospital in Lansing. And so it was about a 6-year jaunt with that person. And then I started going to Lansing, and the rest of the story. I just closed on them a couple of weeks ago in a very, very high dollar sale in Lansing. But that was a 6 or 7 year. Yeah. And she loved me. She stayed loyal. I said to them when we started showing houses again a few weeks ago, I said, I thought maybe by now you'd moved on to somebody because of COVID and the prices, and they were in Lansing now. And they said, "Oh no, we would have found you anywhere." So that's one of my great stories of rentals, or that seed. And, I'm no great marketer. I'll just be honest. I am no great marketer at keep in touch. You should be, but I'm not. And
We do our best.
we do our best. We wear a lot of hats, and I would touch base with them. I would see they opened their portal. So that's one of my stories of sometimes we want it hot now. And then after Cindy answers, I think it's a good segue about how are we handling this market right now, because we want to see it right now, and maybe we're not seeing it right now. And how do we plant those seeds? So
but I love that. I didn't know that part of that story that started back at renters. I knew the ending of the story, but I didn't know the beginning of the story. And so that's the important part right there.
For sure.
Is that you built a relationship with them that spanned the test of time, right? No matter where they were, they still felt connected to you in some way. And so the conversation kept going in some way. So that's a great story. What about you?
And what I was doing was literally, there were times because of their schedule, I couldn't just run an hour and a half to Lansing. I was literally paying $100 a showing to ask the listing agent to open the door. I didn't like doing it.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to invest first to show them that we're committed to them. So go ahead, Cindy.
Sure.
Yeah, good.
Oh, well, I have a lot of weird, odd stories. I won't say weird, odd, but yeah, it used to be a joke years ago, but probably one of the, and maybe this isn't too odd, but our son played basketball, and he went to a new school. We were at a basketball game, and this couple, sharp, I liked him right away, started talking to me, but I'll be honest with you, they spoke Spanish, and I wasn't really sure what they were saying. And I tend to, when I don't understand, I talk loud. And Tim's standing there with me, and I could tell they wanted to get with me, I think, about real estate. And I was just nodding. I'm like, yup, but I was smart enough. I had my business card, and their son came up, and I got their contact information, and it was funny. And now they're great friends. And I've probably, through the years, I'm probably on my 7th house. I'm working on selling them another one. And they still laugh at me because sometimes when the husband talks, I don't know exactly what he's saying, but they get it. They know me. So they're like, Cindy, just listen, And so, yeah, so they're great clients. And I think it's more, if you're willing, like you said, Tracy, listen, and you may not know exactly, but say, hey, I'll find out. I'll give you the info.
But you know what? You both just pointed out 2 situations where when you met these people, you had no idea where it would go. For Kim, she was offering advice to someone that she wasn't even getting paid for, but she was making an investment into this, potential client, because every person we come in contact with is a potential client.
Absolutely.
So those are really 2 great examples.
Tracy, on that, and think about that. 7, 8 years, whatever it was, you're investing in a rental that you might get $100. And fast forward to 2022, it is the largest sale I've ever had in real estate.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Well, one of my first sales in real estate was $18,000. I ended up selling them a house over 4. So down the road, and I've got referrals from that too. So I treated that $18,000 house like it was $1 million.
Yes,
It was, you do it all. I always say this, it all goes in the mix. And some of those smaller sales, you treat them right, and they'll come to you at the right time. Maybe you didn't have a sale that month, but that one's going to hit. And I so appreciated that right from the start.
That's good. That's good. Well, I would say I could point to a couple of them. One was my mattress story. Do you guys remember that story where I was at the mattress store?
Yes.
And I was buying a mattress, and we just start offering advice. Oh, because you kind of become friends while you're popping from, little mattress.
While you're laying on the mattress.
Like, oh, I like this one. And next thing I know, I'm like, so Masuder and Remy were their names, and they were really great. And they're like, wow, you're amazing. Like, I love this. And, so it was just like this little connection in the mattress store. They're like, you must be in sales. Because I was offering opinions, and the sales guy was like, well, I'm just going to go get a cup of coffee over here, But at the end of the day, we just made a connection over something as silly as mattresses. And at the end of the day, they asked me for my card and said they were thinking about buying something. And I think within 30 days, I had already found them something. And so it was just a really cool connection. So whether it's basketball or somebody that, you meet as a renter, whether you're at a holiday party, gathering with friends, I think we all have to remember that we are in the business of conversations. And if we are not putting ourselves in places, and conversations can be letter writing too. It can be cards, it can be notes. I mean, how many different ways, Kim, do we encourage people to connect with people?
Yeah, and I think, and we're going to talk about this in the next couple of weeks, cards and or just a quick thank you card, or I appreciate you, or I'm sorry you lost your pet, or all of those stand out in a world that moves fast on email and text. So Tracy taught me, keep a stack of cards on your desk and write one out. And, recently one of our staff members lost a sister out of the blue. And I have my card sitting right here, ready to mail. So I think that's, really important to stand out. This is a great time. I don't know how many people send Christmas cards. but I do. I had a friend that she always sent a Thanksgiving card because you don't normally get those. So just
Yeah.
different ways, right? Where we can encourage them along the way. And I think the one thing that before we close up today is mindset. When we go into those parties or when we are talking to people, I think our mindset is really important, especially with what we are hearing, the market, interest rates. We know all of what's happening, right? And people are looking to us for confidence, right? They're
Yes.
looking for us. We get to set the tone. And so what are you going to say when you go in that party? They go, oh, what's happening in the market? Or, oh man, you guys even selling any houses? Or what is your response?
Be a student of the market. That's what Greg Carlson
Yeah.
would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
yes.
sure, and positive. It's a
Yes.
great time. Oh my gosh, you're thinking about selling. It's a great time to sell. Oh, you're going to buy. It's a great time to buy.
Mhm,
You know, let's sit down and talk about it. Yeah,
mhm.
always great. Real estate's always great when I talk with other people.
Miss Positivity. I like it. I like it.
And
Well,
it's
excellent.
a great time. It's a great time for buyers, right? I mean, we're not
Yep,
giving a market
it
update,
is.
but it's still a seller's market. And I always ask the question, why is one person busy and one person isn't? And we know it ebbs and flows. When you're having your best time ever, you might hit a lull, and I'm having my best time ever. But it all comes down to the one thing that we said earlier, right? What conversations are we having? And
Yep.
keep moving those along. And even if you have conversations now, you can start building that pipeline for buyers right now and sellers.
Yep.
It's about educating them properly about what's going on in the market. No, maybe you're not going to have highest and best and have multiple offers and a $30,000 appraisal gap, but you're still really going to make probably $70,000 in the last 3 years. How's that feel? Right?
Yep,
That's amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep,
How does
you're
that sound? That
planting
sounds amazing.
seeds now. You're planting seeds now, and they'll come up later because that's how real estate is. You're never.
Right,
I mean, you're in the month, but you're looking that 2 months ahead. Where's this
Right.
all going to lead? And you can
Yeah.
change your whole direction in a matter of a
Right.
month or two, for sure.
Well, we will leave you from this conversation to your next conversations, because we are all going to continue our day with conversations. So I encourage you to look for conversations, make a list. Who can you call? Who can you connect with? Who can you have coffee with? Who can you write a note to? Who can you be present with? But continue to have those conversations, because at the end of the day, you are in the business of conversations, not in the business of closings. The closings will happen as a reflection of your work in the conversation. So go and have conversations and make it a great day.
All right, everybody. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Yep. See you
Bye.
guys. Have a great
Happy
day.
holiday parties.
Yes.
See
Bye.
ya.